The Maṇḍala Rites of Noble Mārīcī, a ritual manual consisting of 700 essential lines from the 12,000-line Tantra of Mārīcī's arising. Homage to the goddess Mārīcī. I will explain the Maṇḍala of Mārīcī's arising from the Tantra called Māyā Mārīcī's arising, which was taught by the perfect victor. This deity Maṇḍala is blessed by all the Buddhas. It is square with 4 gates, adorned with 4 archways, decorated with long and short lattices, and graced with 8 pillars. Draw a vajra, a jewel, and a half moon with a garland of light in the intermediate section. Draw a circle in the middle with a radiant garland of 8 vajras and a vajra on top, surrounded by a chain of vajras. A divine fire blazes forth and emits a light as pure as the autumn moon. Set out the 8 vases. Fill the vases with the 5 great medicines, the 5 grains, the 5 precious substances, and perfumed water, and wrap them with 2 strips of cloth. Anoint the body of each vase with white sandalwood, adorn them with flower garlands, and furnish them with the various divine food offerings and a row of lamps. Then recite the mantra 108 times over the all-victorious vase, furnish it with the 5 supreme medicines and 5 jewels, decorate it with white, yellow, red, green, and blue-colored strips of cloth, and set it down. If there is not one there already, make a canopy out of 2 pieces of cloth and raise it. Hang flower garlands on the various victory banners, fumigate the area with sweet-smelling incense, and have the disciple enter. The disciple's face should be veiled by 2 pieces of cloth. Place a turban on his head, anoint him with sandalwood, adorn him with a flower garland, and then confer the consecration. All the ritual implements should be incanted with the mantra Om Mārīcī Svaha. In the middle is the goddess Mārīcī, whose golden complexion flickers like gold from the Jambu River. She wears a blue lower robe and a blue upper garment and shawl, is adorned with all her various ornaments, bracelets, and the like, and is installed in the middle. She has 6 arms, 3 faces, and 3 eyes. She is mounted on a boar, and her hair has grown into a chaitya crown. Her left hands hold a bow, thread, and ashoka branch. Her right hands hold an arrow, vajra, and needle. She sits in the middle of a chaitya with her right foot extended. Om Arkamasi Svaha. The goddess installed in the eastern quarter is adorned with all her ornaments. She is like the sun at dawn and is a young girl in the prime of her youth. She wears a blue upper garment and holds in her 2 hands a needle and thread that she uses to sew eyes and mouths shut. Om Makamasi Svaha. The goddess in the southern quarter should be depicted as a young girl with a pale yellow complexion, wearing a blue lower robe and a blue upper garment and shawl. Her 2 hands hold an ashoka branch and a needle and thread, and she is adorned with all her ornaments. That is the goddess of the southern quarter. Om Antadanamasi Svaha. In the western quarter is a young girl adorned with all her ornaments. She holds a noose and an ashoka branch, has a yellow complexion, wears a blue lower robe, upper garment and shawl, and rides a boar. She has 2 arms, blazes like fire, and dwells in the western quarter. Om Tejomasi Svaha. In the northern quarter is a young girl adorned with all her ornaments. She has a red complexion and wears a blue lower robe, upper garment, and shawl. Her 2 hands hold an arrow and bow. A goddess should be installed in the 8 directions in the proper order. Om Udayamasi Svaha is in the southeast. Om Gulmamasi Svaha is in the southwest. Om Vanamasi Svaha is in the northwest. Om Chivaramasi Svaha is in the northeast. Install the goddesses in that order. Following proper ritual procedure, imagine that they all have the face of a boar, are extremely powerful, and are preceded by a charging boar. Om Alo Svaha is at the eastern gate. Om Talo Svaha is at the southern gate. Om Kalo Svaha is at the western gate. Om Sachalo Samsamurati Svaha is at the northern gate. Om Vatali Svaha is at the southeast boundary. Om Vadali Svaha is at the southwest boundary. Om Varali Svaha is at the northwest boundary. Om Varahamukhi Svaha is at the northeast boundary. The 2 mantras Om Padakramasi Svaha and Om Varali Svaha are written on a card in the southern quarter. The 2 mantras Om Parakramasi Svaha and Om Varali Svaha are written on a card in the western quarter. The 2 mantras Om Gulmamasi Svaha and Om Varali Svaha are written on a card in the northern quarter. The 2 mantras Om Mahachivaramasi Svaha and Om Varahamukhi Svaha are written on a card in the eastern quarter. Here is the description of the protectors who guard the gates, beginning in the east. They are the colours of the Tathagatas, Akshobhya, and so forth. They hold implements such as the Vajra, the hook, and the rest, and they all bear the same objects and have the same complexions as the goddesses Vatali, Akamasi, and so forth. The 2 goddesses on the cards beginning in the southern quarter are the colour of the Tathagata of that quarter. Imagine all of them in due order, holding a Vajra, Ashoka branch, arrow, bow, needle, thread, hook, and noose. They all have the face of a boar, have 3 eyes, are mounted on a boar, and are adorned with all their ornaments. A mandala that has been visualized in this way will remove all negative deeds, make that person successful and prosperous, and bring wealth and good harvests. He will attain whatever good result he desires just by reciting the mantra on a regular basis. This is another rite. The mantra Om Mārīcī Svaha and its supreme seed syllable Om Mam are effective for all rites. Add the syllable Dri to the mantra for rites of pacifying, increasing, enthralling, subjugating, and attracting. If he imagines the syllable Hom blazing in his heart and mounted on a whirling firebrand while performing the attracting rite with the hook and noose, it will attract a divine woman who is within 100 leagues. If he wants to enthrall a king, he should make an effigy out of salt and offer it into the fire at the 3 junctions of the day, and in 7 days the king will give an indication of his trust and be enthralled. If he wants to pacify him, he should make it out of durva grass anointed with ghee. If he wants him to have a long life, he should kindle the fire with udumbara, bodhi tree, banyan, and bhuteya branches, coat ashoka flowers with the 3 sweets, and perform 100,000 fire offerings. The king will be enthralled and give an indication of his trust within 7 days, and he will even receive a turban. Another rite is as follows. The most important ingredient is the outer layers of the right horn of a tawny cow. He should prepare a collyrium that contains equal proportions of that and the blood from the left ear of a boar, and incant it with the mantra Om Mārīcī Antardhanamasi Svaha for the duration of a lunar eclipse, and it will be activated. He will become invisible by simply applying it to the eye. He should coat a collyrium mixed with a female black cat's excrement with the 3 types of metal and place it in his mouth during the lunar eclipse while reciting the mantra for the duration of the eclipse, and it will be rendered effective. This is the most advanced invisibility spell. It ensures that one cannot be seen, cannot be seized, cannot be bound, cannot be stopped, cannot be opposed, cannot be enchanted, cannot be cut by a blade, cannot be decapitated, cannot be injured, cannot be burned, and cannot be brought under an enemy's control. Use the mantra Om Mārīcī Antardhana Svaha for all invisibility rites. The following is the description of the fire pit. Make a fire pit measuring 1 cubit and an altar 4 fingers wide. Draw a lotus in the middle of the hearth surrounded by a chain of vajras. Draw a vajra in the center of the lotus. The wise one should make a fire pit that resembles a lotus with 1,000 petals. He should scatter kusha grass on the 4 sides, place a water vessel to the left, and place all the ritual implements to the right. He should recite the mantra Om Mārīcī Hum Pat Svaha over the water and sprinkle it, expel all the vignas, and then invoke the deity Agni with the following mantra. Om Mahabhuta Deva Gana Ehi Rishi Vija Satama Ehi Kritiva Ahuti Ahara Asmin Sanihito Bhava Om Agnaye Tripatri Svaha Avisha Mahashriye Havya Kavya Vahanaya Svaha. This mantra will summon and install Agni in the middle of the fire pit. He sits on a sun disk, has 3 eyes and 4 arms, and holds a boon-granting water vessel, a lotus garland, a staff, and a string of aksha beads. His tawny hair blazes upward. Agni is peaceful, and he is supreme among those who eliminate all manner of misdeeds. The oblation should be offered into his mouth 3 times. After that, the deity is installed. He should imagine that the image of a sun disk appears out of the syllable Ram, the syllable A appears on that, and a lunar disk emerges from it like a blazing fire. Then he should imagine that the goddess Mārīcī is installed upon the lunar disk just as before, and he should offer the oblation into her mouth 3 times. If he desires a particular siddhi, the Vajracharya should ritually purify himself and wash his body. He should wear white robes for the pacifying rite, yellow robes for the increasing rite, red robes for the enthralling rite, and black robes for the subjugating rite. He must learn the rite through a Vajracharya's instructions. He should perform 1,000 fire offerings of lotuses dipped in yogurt, honey, and ghee. Or if he wants to become a local ruler, he should offer the 1,000 lotuses in front of the painting. Then he will see Mārīcī in her true form, or enjoy great prosperity. This is the best rite for engendering all manner of happiness in this life. Also, if the fire offering is performed with 100,000 red and blue lotuses, he will attain any type of material wealth he desires and have a vision of blessed Mārīcī. Another rite is as follows. He should recite the mantra Om Mārīcī Vatali Vadali Varali Vaha Ramukti Savadushtanam Chakshu Mukam Banda Banda Svaha 7 times over his robe as he ties a knot. Then if he inserts a teakwood dagger that is 4 fingers long into the knot and sets off on a journey, Robbers and the like will perceive him as a king of elephants, sparing his tusks, and every thief will be restrained. All the multitudes of living beings will adore him and be enchanted. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should draw the effigy on a copper vessel. Then he should inscribe the mantra, augmented with the target's name, with the end of a double vajra, using yellow arsenic, turmeric and sulfur, and it will paralyze them. He should place the vessel in water, and they will give an indication of their trust. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should draw the effigy with bovine bezoar and horseblood on a copper pot, augment the mantra with the target's name, and write it in the center. Then he should place the pot in water and recite the mantra, and it will summon any being within 1,000 leagues. If he imagines the man or woman seated on a whirlwind and summons them with the noose and hook, they will undoubtedly be drawn to him. If he performs the following offering to both the deity and a guru who has been consecrated in the Maṇḍala of Mārīcī's arising, he will perfect the goddess's mantra, which was taught by the perfect victor. He should install the 4 syllables in the 4 directions with a lunar disk in the middle, like a mountain of blue sapphire whose light spreads for 1,000 leagues. Then he should imagine himself as the deity emanation that appears out of the syllable mam at the center of the lunar disk. She is bright yellow, has beautiful tresses of thick hair, and wears a black lower robe. She wears a blue upper garment and shawl. She has 6 arms, 3 boar faces, and 3 eyes. She is adorned with all her ornaments, and wears a chaitya on her head. In her right hands she holds a garland of luminous, blazing vajras, an arrow and a needle. In her left hand she holds a bow, thread, and an ashoka branch. She is seated on a lunar disk in a boar-drawn chariot with a beautiful, deep golden color. Whether he imagines that it is evening and she sits on a lunar disk, or that it is day and she sits on a solar disk, the visualization will be just as effective. Om Vam Yam Ram Vam Mam Ma Me Pashantu Sattva Anta Dhanamasi Svaha. If he recites this mantra while traveling, it will ensure that he cannot be seen, cannot be seized, cannot be bound, cannot be stopped, cannot be opposed, cannot be enchanted, cannot be cut by a blade, cannot be decapitated, cannot be injured, cannot be burned, and cannot be brought under an enemy's control. He should mix realgar and bovine bezoar with a collyrium and sit at the base of the northern side of a crepe jasmine bush, naked and with his hair down, during a lunar or solar eclipse. He should combine the previous ingredients, make them into a pill, and wrap the pill in gold, silver, and copper. He should place it in his mouth and hide. This pill is the best for making one invisible for an entire day. It is said that Om Mam is the supreme heart mantra. It is the essence of the essence and the most secret of secrets. It grants the 4 desirable gifts, and through it one can attain Buddhahood. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should visualize Blessed Mārīcī in the middle of a lunar disk and seated on a lunar disk. Mārīcī is beautiful and shines like gold from the Jambu River. She has 3 faces, 3 eyes, and 6 arms. She wears a blue lower robe and a blue upper garment and shawl. She is adorned with her various ornaments and wears a chaitya on her head. Her primary face is yellow and smiling. Her left face is a terrifying black boar that bares its fangs. Its tongue lolls about as it snarls and strikes fear in the enemy. Her right face is white and casts a light as pure as the autumn moon. Her left hands hold a bow, thread, and ashoka branch. Her right hands brandish an arrow, needle, and vajra. She is lovely and grants whatever one desires. She is efficacious and grants all the siddhis. This is the mandala that was taught by the victor. The section in the Tantra of Mārīcī's arising, called Mārīcī Appears, says, "It is square and has 4 gates, adorned with 4 archways. There are 8 vases, tied with pairs of cloth strips, anointed with pure white sandalwood, and decorated with flower garlands. Draw the sublime mandala using the 5 colors. In the middle is an 8-petaled lotus in full bloom. The archways have flower garlands and long and short lattices. It has 8 lamps and is adorned with colorful canopies. Vam is in the center of the lotus. Om Mārīcī Svaha. Om Akamasi Svaha is in the east. Om Makamasi Svaha is in the south. Om Antadanamasi Svaha is in the west. Om Tejomasi Svaha is in the north. Om Padakramasi Svaha is in the southeast. Om Urmamasi Svaha is in the southwest. Om Vanamasi Svaha is in the northwest. Om Viparimasi Svaha is in the northeast. Om Mahachivarama Svaha is at the zenith. Om Parakramasi Svaha is at the nadir. He should install the goddesses in the mandala in this way and make offerings, and they will grant anything he desires. The aforementioned sequence should also be used to draw the painting. When a disciple is consecrated in the mandala, they should be close to attaining the siddhis and should offer their own wealth or their own body. This concludes the 4-syllable ritual. In the sky is the syllable mam inside a sun and moon chaitya. The syllable transforms into a youthful girl who is yellow like the color of molten gold. She is radiant and blazes forth like the sun at dawn. She has a garland of 1,000 light rays that radiate outward. She wears a lower robe as red as the scarlet mallow and hibiscus flower. She wears an upper garment and shawl of various shades of red, bracelets, earrings, a girdle, and bangles for her feet. She wears anklets, and her arms have various types of armlets. She is adorned with all her ornaments. Vairochana is seated on her crown, and her head is ornamented with an ashoka wreath. She has 8 hands, 3 faces, and 3 eyes. In her left hands she brandishes a bow, ashoka branch, thread, and noose. In her right hands she brandishes a blazing vajra, needle, hook, and arrow. She is lovely. Her primary face is peaceful and open like a flower in full bloom. It is bright yellow like gold, with eyes like blue lotuses, and lips that look as if they have been smeared with vermilion powder. Its countenance is charming and playful. The face on the left is wrathful and contorted, bears its fangs, and is terrifying. It radiates like blue sapphire or lapis lazuli. Its radiance is equal to that of 12 suns. Its snarling grimace is wrathful. It has a curling tongue, and it is unbelievably terrifying. The face on the right is bright red and wreathed in red flowers on the blooming branches spreading from an ashoka tree trunk that has been planted in the middle of a chaitya and blaze forth like the light of a divine ruby. At the base beneath her is Lord Vairochana with his crown of matted locks, peaceful demeanor, and golden yellow complexion, bearing the hand mudra of supreme awakening. She is seated with her right leg extended inside a chaitya that has been placed on a boar-drawn chariot. She is a young girl in the prime of her youth. Down in front of the chariot there is a whirlwind, on which is the syllable ha, and out of which appears an emanation of the great celestial deity Rahu, who eclipses the sun by day and the moon by night. She is surrounded by 4 goddesses, and her mantra is Om Mārīcī Svaha. The goddess on the lead chariot, summoned into the space in front of her, has 4 arms, is red, has the face of a boar, and wears a red lower robe. She wears a red upper garment and shawl, and is adorned with all her ornaments. She rides the lead chariot, brandishing a needle and thread, and she holds a hook with which she draws in her target, a noose and a branch. He should recite the mantra Om Vatali Vadali Varali Vahahamukhi Svaha, and whatever woman or man he wishes will be conveyed on a whirlwind and be drawn to him. The mantra for the goddess who dwells in the southern quarter is Om Vatali Vadali Varali Varahamukhi Savadushta Pradustanam Chakshurmukham Banda Bandami Svaha. This mantra shuts the mouths of wicked people. She has 4 arms and a golden complexion, and she wears a red lower robe and a red upper garment and shawl. 1 set of hands holds an ashoka branch and a noose, and the other set holds a sewing needle and thread. Her head is wreathed with a garland of ashoka flowers. The mantra for the goddess who dwells in the western quarter is Om Vatali Vadali Varali Varahamukhi Savadushta Pradushtanam Stambaya Svaha. Imagine this goddess with 4 arms in the space behind Mārīcī. She holds a vajra, noose, branch, and needle. She has a golden complexion and wears a red lower robe and a red upper garment and shawl. She appears as a young girl adorned with all her ornaments, with her head wreathed with a garland of ashoka flowers. Om Vatali Vadali Varali Varamukhi Savadushtam Mevasham Anaya Svaha. The goddess who dwells in the northern quarter has 4 arms and the various ornaments. She wears a red lower robe and a red upper garment and shawl. She emits a radiant light like the sun at dawn and blazes like the fire of passion. Her left hands hold a blazing bow and ashoka branch, and her right hands hold an arrow and luminous vajra. The goddess stands there like the fire that consumes the world at the end of an eon, and she enthralls all beings. To begin, he should first hold a feast for the noble Sangha. He should have an artist who maintains the precepts draw the painting of Blessed Mārīcī on a new canvas. The faithful one should arrange the upper robe on one side and complete the painting. Then he should hold a feast for the fully ordained nuns, as well as for the young women. Then he should display the image inside a reliquary chaitya located at a pool, at the ocean, on a mountain, in a charnel ground, at the base of a banyan tree, in a garden, in a shrine, or in a house, and he should recite the 100,000 syllable mantra using the 5 customary offerings. The first, second, and third recitations will purify misdeeds. At the fourth, he will have a vision in which he crosses the ocean, comes to rest on a mountain, and encounters a young girl. He should understand this as an indication that his misdeeds are now purified. At the fifth, the tip of the lamp will grow, and a sweet smell will fill his nose. At the sixth, he will see the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. At the seventh, he will have a vision of Mārīcī. When the practitioner sees these signs, the siddhis have been stabilized. If at some point the practitioner sees an inauspicious sign such as serpents, monkeys, cats, donkeys, horses, elephants, buffalo, or dogs quarrelling with one another and becomes worried, he should recite the mantra 200,000 times. At that point, he will actually see the form of Blessed Mārīcī and perfect the rite that is taught in the ritual manual. The mantra Om Mārīcī Svaha can be used for any rite. If he recites it 108 times without interruption, his intellect will sharpen, and he will be able to remember 1,000 texts. He will have a long life, be healthy and powerful, and be worthy of all beings' offerings. Someone who has completed 10,000 recitations will gain the siddhi of extending their lifespan to 1,000 years. If he continually offers the 5 things while reciting the mantra 10 million times, he will attain siddhis. This is precisely what Vairochana taught. It brings about many miraculous things, such as the invisibility, collyrium, shoes, sword, pill, bovine bezoar, and flight siddhis, and the ritual powers of enthralling, attracting, expelling, killing, sowing discord, paralyzing, enchanting, binding, overcoming, pinning with a dagger, attracting yakshinis, and piercing dakinis. It cures things such as fever, illness, poison, and the 4-day fever, and it grants the power of entering, attracting divine beings, and finding lost treasure. The mantra must be recited continually by one who has performed the king of mantras invocation and is perfectly endowed with the pride of Mārīcī. The following is the ritual for enthralling and attracting. In a private and secret place, he should smear a maṇḍala with white sandalwood or cow dung in front of the deity image. He should draw the effigy with the sap of ashoka flowers, red lac, red sandalwood, and bovine bezoar. Add the target's name to the mantra and place it in the middle. Then he should place his left hand on his genitals, recite the mantra, and imagine that the target's legs give out and that they exhibit various types of madness, such as letting their hair down and trembling with intense passion. Performing this rite on the one who bears that name will enthrall the desired target within 3 days. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should make an effigy of the target out of the soil from both banks of a river and soil from a footprint. Using the same substances described above, he should augment the mantra with the target's name and write it on birch bark or a piece of cloth from the cremation ground and place it in the middle. This rite should be performed when the moon is in the lunar asterism Pusha. He should take an ashoka wood dagger 8 fingers long and stab the effigy's vagina. Then he should place the dagger in his left hand and recite the mantra while bearing the target's name in mind. This will enthrall even Maheshvara's wife within 3 days, not to mention the spouse of another human being. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should make the effigy out of beeswax, write the mantra augmented with the target's name on a piece of birch bark with vermilion powder, using the aforementioned great medicines colored with vermilion powder, and place it in the middle. All these rites should be performed when the moon is in the lunar asterism Pusha. He should stab the effigy in the genitals with an ashoka wood dagger, smear the body with black mustard seed, and offer incense in a fire kindled with teakwood. This rite will enthrall even Shakra's daughter in 3 days' time, not to mention the daughter of a human being. The mantra recitation also works on men. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should make the effigy out of ash from a charnel ground, dirt from an anthill, clay from a potter's wheel, and soil from a footprint. Write the mantra augmented with the target's name on a piece of birch bark with red sandalwood and bovine bezoar, and place it in the middle. He should burn it in a fire kindled with teakwood while reciting the mantra in front of the painting for 7 days at the 3 junctures of the day, and any human king will give an indication of his trust and be enthralled. There is another, more advanced procedure for faithful disciple that is described as follows. He should gather the collyrium from the left eye of a dead person, the left ring finger, and a left rib bone 6 fingers long. Then, using a male skull, he should prepare an ink of red sandalwood, red lac, bovine bezoar, and ashoka flowers when the moon is in the lunar asterism Pusha. He should write the king of mantras augmented with the target's name on a lotus with 8 petals. He should imagine the goddess surrounded by 6 fires, filled with the wind seed syllable, and standing on a sun disk with her right leg extended. As he draws the target in with the hook and noose, a whirlwind will draw in any target who is within 1,000 leagues. This is the supreme siddhi of attracting a woman. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should draw a clear likeness of the king on a plank of ashoka wood and write his name in the center with his own blood, bovine bezoar, and red saffron. It should be surrounded by the syllable mam, and that should be surrounded by the syllable chai. He should trample the plank with his left foot, while bearing the king's name in mind and reciting the mantra, and he will undoubtedly draw near within 3 days. If he wants to attract a yakshini, he should go to a charnel ground on an auspicious day when the moon is in the lunar asterism Pusha, and fashion a piece of banyan wood measuring 1 cubit into an effigy of a girl in the prime of her youth that clearly resembles a yakshini. She should be adorned with all her ornaments, and her right foot should be slightly bent. She should be holding a banyan branch with her left hand, with a flirtatious air that indicates she is intent on fulfilling her sexual desire. He should write the mantra augmented with the target's name, using the aforementioned great medicines, and place it in the middle. At night, in a private and secret place where there are no people to distract him, he should smear a mandala on the ground with sandalwood and place it in front of the painting. He should scatter flowers on it, light the lamps, and make an incense offering of bdellium. He should recite the mantra while bearing the yakshini's name in mind, and she will come. A sign will appear on the first day, and the next day she will reveal herself. At that point, he should remain silent, and if he maintains a vow of silence for an entire month, he will attain the siddhi. The yakshini will bestow on him the supreme siddhi. The practitioner should call her mother, sister, or wife. Then she will take him on her hip and transport him to her realm. The practitioner will live as long as he wants, up to 1 eon. If at any point he makes a mistake and does not heed this instruction, he will not gain the siddhi and will become a great patron. At that point he will obtain great and vast wealth, and he will be born into a family of yakshas in his next rebirth. That is called the yakshini practice ritual. If he wants to enthrall a king, he should make an effigy on a banyan branch that hangs down to the base of the tree. It should be well made and clearly resemble the target. He should write the target's name clearly in the middle with bovine bezoar, red lac, and red saffron, summon them with the noose and hook, and imagine that their 2 legs give out as he recites the mantra. At that point, the target will be his servant for as long as they live. This is a highly advanced practice, and it requires perseverance and determination. The following rite is also performed on an auspicious day when the moon is in the lunar asterism Pusha, and the statue should be made from a piece of Ashoka wood that measures 1 cubit. Victorious Blessed Mārīcī has 8 arms, 3 faces, and 3 eyes. Her hair adorns the top of her head like a chaitya. She wears a wreath of Ashoka flowers and is ornamented with gold earrings, a neck ornament, a half-length necklace, bracelets, a girdle, bangles for her feet, and hundreds of various garlands. Her body is blazing and radiant like gold from the Jambu River, and it emanates a light as bright as 10,000 suns. She wears a red lower robe and a multicolored upper garment and shawl. In her left hand she holds a bow, Ashoka branch, noose and thread. In her right hands she brandishes a blazing vajra, arrow, needle, and hook. She has the face of a boar on the left and the right. Her primary face shines like a flower in full bloom. Her complexion is like molten gold. Her eyes are like blooming flowers. Her beautiful face is radiant, and her lips are as red as coral, scarlet mallow, and hibiscus flowers. Her left face is wrathful, bears its fangs, is terrifying, and has a horrific scowl. Its gaze does not waver and is never deterred. Its tongue curls back, and it is unbelievably terrifying. The complexion of her left face is like blue sapphire. Her right face is that of a boar, and its complexion is like a red ruby. It is adorned with a flowering Ashoka branch. Her chariot is furnished with the sun and moon, and driven by the Asuras and a boar. The youthful goddess stands with her left leg forward. Down in front of the chariot there is a whirlwind with the symbol Ha on it, out of which appears the celestial deity Rahu, who eclipses the sun by day and the moon by night. When the moon is in the lunar asterism Pusha, he should offer whatever he has and carefully prepare a feast for the young maiden. When the statue is finished, the wise one should coat a relic pill with gold and place it inside the base of the chaitya that crowns her head. That statue is known as a statue that contains a relic. Then, in a place where there is a house with a vast amount of land, he should make a maṇḍala in front of the statue by smearing the ground with sandalwood or cow dung, and he should perform the offering while reciting the mantra. He should scatter it with flowers, drape it with flower garlands and long and short lattices, decorate it with a garland of lamps, and offer perfumes, fragrances, offering cakes, sandalwood, and bdellium. Now I will describe the vessel for the water offering. He should use a vessel made of conch or pearl oyster shell, a vessel made out of gold, silver, or copper, or a vase made of clay. He should focus on Vairochana's great consort just as before, recite the mantra Om Mārīcī ehi ehi anta samnihito bhava to summon Blessed Mārīcī, and visualize her approaching and standing there in that form. Then the practitioner should make offerings to her with the 5 customary offerings while reciting the following mantra. Om Mārīcī devatayai anta sanihito me bhava anurakto me bhava sutorsho me bhava savasitim me bhava prayacha. The vidyā master should incant the aforementioned vessel that has been anointed with white sandalwood and adorned with flower garlands with the mantra 108 times, and then place the vessel down as the water offering. He should sprinkle Blessed Mārīcī with the water and supplicate her, saying, "From this day forward, please ensure that your mantra is effective for me." Then he should recite the mantra and perform the visualization with pride in himself as Mārīcī, and he should recite the 100,000 syllable mantra. Afterward, signs of the siddhis will appear. The statue of Mārīcī might shake or tremble, or he might see a string of points of light, smell a sweet fragrance, experience heat, see smoke, or see fire. If he does not see any of these signs, he should double the mantra recitation. When he has performed 10 million mantra recitations, he will attain siddhi. He will see the actual body of Blessed Mārīcī and attain siddhi. She will bestow the highest state along with whatever siddhi he wishes, be it the sword, collyrium, shoes, bovine bezoar, invisibility, pill, or alchemical elixir. The sword siddhi refers to becoming a lord of the vidyādharas and frolicking with the vidyādharis simply by taking hold of the beautiful siddhi sword. The collyrium siddhi refers to enthralling gods, asuras, and human beings when he looks at them, simply by applying the collyrium to the eye. The shoe siddhi refers to wearing shoes that allow him to travel 1,000 leagues. The bovine bezoar siddhi refers to taking on manifold forms and enthralling kings by placing a bindi on the forehead using the bovine bezoar. The pill siddhi refers to placing a pill in his mouth that allows him to travel the vast earth and take whatever form he wishes, just like a yaksha. The mercury siddhi refers to acquiring mercury that can transform any element into gold and make his body indestructible. Also, should he wish, he can become immortal and become a lord of the celestial beings with a divine body that is impervious to all manner of evil influences and can take on various forms. If he desires, the power and magical ability of this radiance will be so majestic it can subdue others. Performing the practice before such a painting and statue can bring siddhis such as these. He can also gain siddhi by meditating on the lack of a self. This authentic practice was taught by Vairochana. If he wants to enthrall a king, he should draw an effigy of the target on a piece of birch bark with red sandalwood and bovine bezoar, write the mantra augmented with their name in the middle, and place it under the feet of the statue. He should put on a red rosary and robes, make an offering with red flowers, and burn an incense offering of bdellium. Then he should summon the target with the noose and hook, imagining them vomiting and both of their legs giving out. By invoking them with the king of mantras, he will enthrall a lord of men in 3 days. Another application of the mantra is as follows. He should draw the target's body in front of the statue on a piece of birch bark with saffron and bovine bezoar mixed with blood. Write the mantra augmented with their name in the middle, surrounded by the seed syllable mam. Surround that with the syllable skrom. Surround that with the syllable chiai, and place it in front of the statue. Then he should burn an incense offering of bdellium while reciting the mantra 108 times, while summoning them with the noose and hook and imagining them riding in a whirlwind. If he does this, he can summon any beautiful woman who is within 1 league. Now I will explain the relic pill practice. He should mix the fat of a human corpse, a woman's nose, and ash from a charnel ground with pulp from a ripe elephant, apple, white bdellium, and horse milk. He should coat with it a trustworthy relic of the Sugata, wrap it in gold, silver, and copper, and finish it on the 3rd day of Pusha. Then he should recite the mantra in front of Mārīcī, and he will gain the siddhi. When he places the pill in his mouth, he can take the form of any yaksha in the world he wishes. There is also the following pill practice. He should grind up excrement from a black cat with the eye of a black dog, the eye of a black horse, the eye of a black raven, the left ear of a pig, and blood, and use it to coat a trustworthy relic of the Sugata. He should finish it on the 3rd day of Pusha by placing it in a sun and moon fire 3 times. Then he should place it on the roof of the mouth and recite the mantra in a secluded place in front of Mārīcī. His wealth will increase 6-fold, and he will enjoy other men's beautiful wives. Another pill rite is as follows. He should coat the eye of a black nocturnal bird, the eye of a black raven, the eye of an owl, the eye of a black cuckoo, or a trustworthy relic of the Sugata, with Vajra milk. Then he should wrap it in gold, silver, and copper, and finish it while reciting the mantra in front of Mārīcī, and he will gain siddhi. When he places it in his mouth, he will be invisible. He will be invisible, imperceptible, unable to be restrained, unstoppable, unable to be overcome, unable to be enchanted, unable to be cut with a blade, unable to be decapitated, invincible, impervious to fire, and unable to come under an enemy's control. Vairochana taught this supreme invisibility rite, and only someone whose mantra recitation is highly advanced can perform it. If he wants it to rain, he should have a young boy and a young girl of just 12 years who have wide eyes and are beautiful, ritually purify themselves and bathe in a private place, put on white robes, anoint their bodies with sandalwood, put on a flower garland, perfume themselves, and fumigate themselves with incense. Then he should smear a mandala with cow dung, have them stand in it, and burn bdellium incense while reciting the mantra 108 times and offering them gifts. He should imagine that a red syllable mam blazes like fire on top of a moon disk in the center of the target, and perform the worshipping ritual with the pride of the deity Mārīcī while ringing the bell and making the incense offering with bdellium, and it will instantly start to rain in that location. The mantra he should recite to make it rain is Om Mārīcī Aveshaya Duna Kampa Kambaya Pratangraha Ganna Hom Om Mārīcī Svaha. This rite was taught by Vairochana. The rainfall meditative concentration that invokes all the Nagas also brings down a torrential rain if the Naga invocation is properly performed. When there is a drought, it means that a wicked and terrible Naga with evil intentions is making it so that there will be no crops, the roots and foliage will wither, and there will be no medicinal plants. So, when there is a drought, the vidyā holder should recite this perfect heart mantra once, and the rain will fall in a great torrent, making the crops and the entire forest with its roots, foliage, and medicinal plants grow. Om Mārīcī Vipula Vare Nage Naga Hridaya Bada Javala Javala Sava Naga Hridayam Kila Naga Kulya Vatishvani Hana Hana Savadushta Naga Hridayani Daha Daha Savadushta Naga Vanami Pacha Pacha Pachaya Pachaya Savadushta Nagani Akrama Akrama Sava Mudra Sagaranyamale Vikrama Vikrama Maha Nagate Javare Svaha. When a vidyā holder merely recollects the verses of this Dharani mantra called the heart mantra of the Naga ever-flashing lightning, the Nagas will let forth a torrent of rain. He should recite the words of an appropriate Dharani mantra such as Tadyata Om Mārīcī Jata Jata Vijata Vijata Slata Slata Saparijiti Svaha, just as before. while performing 108 fire offerings of white durva grass seeds at a body of water in which a naga lives, and it will immediately release a torrential rain. He should perform an incense offering to the nagas using white bdellium mixed with honey while reciting the dharani 21 times. He should draw a naga with chalk and milk surrounding the outside of the mandala, arrange the 4 gates, and place 7 full vases on each side, filled with as much as the various liquids as possible. He should completely cover the ground with flowers, offer the various barley offerings, and purify the fruit offering. He should burn bdellium incense around the 4 vases full of water, 4 vases containing an abundance of barley offerings, and 4 containers. He should make 8 lamp offerings. Then the vidyā holder should perform fire offering at the eastern gate by making 108 fire offerings with white mustard mixed with rock salt into a fire kindled with oleander wood. When the 108 fire offerings are complete, all the nagas will let forth a torrential rain. Someone who wants rain to fall across all of Jambudvipa should exert themselves in this rite for a year. He should make a pill out of a powder of white mustard seeds, black mustard oil, honey, nerium flowers, and a cobra saffron. Place the pill in the center and recite the mantra 108 times. Just placing it in the center will please the nagas, and they will let forth a torrential rain. If it does not immediately rain, their bodies will rot and decay. They will contract an infectious disease, and they will suffer tremendous torment. He should cook ashes from a fire with sour rice gruel, incant it with the mantra 60 times, and pour it into a place where a naga lives. Simply pouring it there will intox the nagas, and they will release a torrent of rain. If it does not immediately start to rain, the flesh on their bodies will develop vitiligo, and they will go blind. He should take a copper-colored powder containing a mixture of lotus, giant milkweed, blue lotus anthers, and yellow arsenic, mix it with water containing white mustard, indrahasta, red lac, and molasses, and make wisdom pills by reciting the mantra 80 times, while making pills the size of a jujube fruits. Then he should place 7 pills in a place where a naga lives, and it will rain continuously for 7 days during a drought. If it does not immediately start to rain, all the bodies of water where nagas live will dry up, and all the nagas will suffer. He should attach a pill to the top of a victory banner at a pond where a naga lives, fasten a blue banner to it, write out the mantra, and attach it to the banner. The nagas will make it rain as long as the pill does not fall from the top of the victory banner. To explain another ritual, he should incant some rice gruel with the mantra Om Mārīcī Suprati Vajra Tu Nade Mili Mili Svaha, make a statue of a naga with 9 heads that is 8 fingers tall, and smear its body with cinnabar. He should display a banner that has the mantra written on it, make a square maṇḍala in front of Blessed Mārīcī, cover the maṇḍala with flowers, perform a thorough white barley offering, and present gifts of flowers and incense. The body of the naga statue should be rubbed against a pomegranate branch that has been incanted with the mantra 21 or 108 times, and the naga who bears that name will become distressed. It will be miserable in its own abode, so it will not return and will let loose a torrential downpour. If it does not rain, the target will die. He should recite the mantra 100,008 times while casting mustard seeds at the naga. After 1008 recitations, the naga statue will begin to move and will open its hood. He should strike it with the pomegranate branch, pick it up, and stand there displaying the snake. If he displays the snake for an entire evening, all the Nagas will come under his control and do whatever he says. He should combine milk with white sesame and place it anywhere while reciting the corresponding mantra Tadyata Om Mārīcī Jata Jata Vijata Vijata Svata Svata Shavari Chiti Chiti Svaha 108 times, and it will attract all of them from their individual locations in all directions. If the vidyā holder has done this for an entire day, following the proper ritual procedure, and all the Nagas of Jambudvipa do not send forth rain to nourish all beings, then he should recite the vidyā holder's samaya and the corresponding dharani. He should recite the 7-part mantra just as before. Then, at a spring where Nagas live, he should perform 108 fire offerings using white durva grass seeds. The Naga's home will burst into flames, and there will be nothing left but a dried-out heap of Naga bones. When there is too much rain, he should light a fire with giant milkweed and perform 108 or 1,000 fire offerings of white mustard and nerium flowers at a Naga pond or spring, using the following mantra, and it will be pacified. Nama Shakyamunaye Tathagataya Tadyata Bhuje Bhuje Samanta Bhuje Tattva Bhuje Pravara Bhuje Samanta Kara Bhuje Turu Turu Samaya Kodane Svaha Naga Sara Sankodini Svaha. The sky in that place and the entire region will blaze with the radiance of 1,000 suns. The Maras will be burned by radiating sharp-pointed Vajra darts, and all attachment, hatred, ignorance, becoming, birth, old age, and death will be destroyed. As he recites the mantra, he should imagine that the syllable mam appears in the middle of the blazing and radiant horizon, and that a magically emanated young girl in the prime of her youth instantly appears. Mārīcī emits a bright yellow light like molten gold from the Jambu River and radiates a mass of light rays in a flash of light equal to 1,000 suns that illuminates the entire sky. She has 8 arms, and she has 3 faces with 3 eyes on each face. 2 of her faces are the face of a black boar. Her own face is in the middle. She has 2 legs, and she adopts a playful stance. She wears a blue lower robe and multicolored upper garment and shawl. She has gold earrings and a girdle that is ornamented with strings of bells. She has bracelets on her wrists. On her ankles she has anklets that jingle, and she is adorned with all her ornaments. She is adorned all over with the various Naga lords. She is bathed by the light of the Naga Lord Peter's jeweled snakehood. Her head is wreathed in ashoka flowers, and her matted locks are drawn up and ornamented with a chaitya. Behind her is a chaitya, and in the hollow of the chaitya stands a great ashoka tree full of flower blossoms. Glorious Vairochana is seated in front of her on a blooming white lotus. The Lord wears a crown of matted locks and is peaceful, and his wisdom eye is open. He is bright yellow like the color of molten gold. His face is handsome and attractive. His body blazes like the sun. He bears the hand mudra of supreme awakening. He sits in single-pointed meditative absorption with his legs crossed, and the blazing light from his radiant power adorns him like the ornament of a Buddha, with burning tips of tongues of fire that pervade the sky and radiate a circular halo of light. Blazing with light, Blessed Mārīcī holds in her first left hand